Mary and the birth of Christ. Young Jesus making clay birds. You've also got baby Jesus. So this isn't youth Jesus. This is baby Jesus speaking from the cradle. And where else is that? Because it's going to be in the Quran, but it's also in the Arabic Infancy Gospel. This is a different work than the prior one. The other one is Infancy Gospel of Thomas. This one is the Syriac or Arabic Infancy Gospel, or sometimes has a fuller name, which will be something like the Arabic Gospel of the Infancy of the Savior. Now, there's only 2 surviving manuscripts of this, 1299 AD, and another one from the 15th, 16th century in Arabic. And apparently, they were copied in the area of northern Iraq. Now, I bring that up, David. There's a reason why I bring that up. Because there are Muslims who sometimes will say, this is after the Quran. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're plagiarizing Muhammad.
Yeah, so I get that. But there's knowledge and information about this prior to it. And just because the earliest copy is from them doesn't mean that that's when it existed. One that if, say, a Dawa guy does a review of this show, I imagine he would harp especially on the later, post-Quranic date of the earliest manuscripts of this. And they would be right about that as far as the manuscript itself. One thing that's interesting about this, and some people have written about this, for example, you can see Gabriel Reynolds' entry in the Wiley Blackwell Handbook of the Quran. He points out that if these are oral stories circulating, it wouldn't necessarily be the case that they would be written down soon either. And isn't this something that sounds exactly like some of the other infancy gospels and things we've read? You know what I mean? So I would say the money is on that, especially when you have sort of the serial plagiarism from these legends happening in the Quran.
Yeah, I'm looking up here. It says, although this gospel is thought to have originated from Syriac sources dating back to the 5th or 6th century, it has become known to European readers by way of an Arabic version published by Henry Syke in 1697, together with a Latin translation. So we don't have most ancient writings. So we don't have like an early Syriac copy of this. We've got later versions, but it's clear to scholars that this goes back to a pretty early source. So here it says 5th or 6th century Syriac source, which would fit in perfectly with the material that Muhammad is around Muhammad in 7th century Arabia.
Right. It's almost like the proto-Quran. What I mean is it has parts of the infancy gospel of Thomas in it, parts of the gospel of James, and parts of the gospel of pseudo-Matthew in it, according to the scholars who do the critical research on this, right? And so you're like, okay, this is like a compilation of, Gnostic tales prior to it, this Syriac or Arabic infancy gospel, and yet it's in the Quran. So look at this. We find what follows in the book of Joseph the high priest, who lived in the time of Christ. Some say that he is Caiaphas. He has said that Jesus spoke, and indeed, when he was lying in his cradle, said to Mary his mother, I am Jesus, the Son of God, the Logos, whom thou hast brought forth, as the angel Gabriel announced to thee. And my Father has sent me for the salvation of the world. So that's what you see in the Arabic Infancy Gospel, chapter 1, Jesus speaking with the cradle. Well, it shows up in Surah 346. He shall preach to men in his cradle and in the prime of manhood and shall lead a righteous life. So there you have this idea of, Jesus talking from the cradle.
Yeah. Also notice, because we already mentioned this earlier, that the Quran is drawing on sources which repeatedly refer to or imply the deity of Christ. And so the Quran has to downgrade all those things. So yeah, he does this thing that is a clear sign of his divinity, giving life to clay birds and creating the same way God does. But it's just by the leave of Allah. It's just by Allah's having him do it. Why? For no reason, apparently. Just the only reason apparently is to give people the misconception that Jesus is God. But here, notice what Jesus says in the Arabic Infancy Gospel. Mary, I am Jesus, the Son of God. That word. So Here you have Jesus is the Son of God, and he's that word which thou didst bring forth according to the declaration of the angel Gabriel to thee. So he's called the Son of God. So yeah, the Quran is going to have to say something else that's not Son of God, although it's clear that the Quran did run with the part about Jesus being the word of Allah. Muhammad just had no clue what that's referring to.
Right. So he's editing these legends he's hearing. Now, this one in particular, Arabic or Syriac infancy gospel, is really wild. It has it has an account of a diaper that heals people. You know, one of Jesus's diapers. He's got the sweat from Jesus turning into balm. It cures leprosy, and then can dye cloth.
Powerful.
All these different colors, like a tie-dye shirt, but only uses one color of dye.
You see?
Now, huh?
You all see the power?
Well, you know what's interesting about the Syriac or Arabic infancy gospel as well? It says that Jesus had earlier encounters with Judas there, and also with the thieves. This is all kinds of interesting stuff here. And yeah, it's found in the Quran. So let's look here and let's take a look at what we're talking about in the more detailed account, David, Surah 19. All right. Oh, sister of Aaron.
Wait, sister of who?
Yeah, don't you know that Mary had a brother named Aaron? Duh. Yeah. Well, actually, that's just a euphemistic way to refer to a Hebrew woman. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. We can never find another example of it except the Quran, but yeah. If anyone doesn't know, according to the Quran, Mary, the mother of Jesus, was the sister of Aaron and Moses. Why? Because those of you who are at all familiar with the Old Testament know that Miriam was the sister of Aaron and Moses, but in the Quran, they're both Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, are both Maryam, would both be Maryam in Arabic. And the Quran refers to Mary, the mother of Jesus, as sister of Aaron and as daughter of Imran. Imran is the Arabic version of Amram, who, of course, is the father of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. And so the Quran, that's multiple ways that the Quran is clearly indicating that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is Miriam, the sister of Aaron and Moses, and the daughter of Amram. The author of the Quran thinks that they're the same woman because they have the same name in Arabic, even though they're about 14 centuries apart.
We continue on with this. Here's what it says in Surah 19, 28 through 34. O sister of Aaron, so they're addressing Mary, thy father was not a wicked man, nor was thy mother a harlot. So, you know, they're kind of like, why are you pregnant, girl? Then she pointed to him. They said, how can we talk to one who is a child in the cradle? So she points to baby Jesus in the cradle, right? And then they say, well, how can we talk to one who's a child in the cradle? And then here's what he says, David. I am indeed a servant of Allah. He has given me the book. Yep.
Did you catch it? So what did he say in the original? Hey, I'm the son of God.
Right here.
I'm Jesus, the son of God. And
it's on the screen.
What does he say? What does the Quran have it? I'm a servant of Allah. So same story, Jesus speaking as a baby. They just change it from, I am the son of God to I'm a servant of Allah.
And I think that also clearly shows that it's derivative because it's remixing it. Mm-hmm. It seems pretty obvious that it's remixing it there, right? He has given me the book and has made me a prophet. And has made me blessed wheresoever I may be. I guess that includes in the cradle. And has enjoined upon me prayer and almsgiving so long as I remain alive. And has made me dutiful toward her who bore me. And hath not made me arrogant, unblessed. Peace on me the day I was born and the day I die. And the day I shall be raised alive. Such was Jesus, son of Mary. This is a statement of the truth concerning which they doubt. The day he dies, huh, David?
Yep.
He dies.
Pretty weird. Peace on me the day I was born and the day I die and the day I shall be raised alive. So notice the pattern right there, ladies and gentlemen, in the Quran that Jesus speaking as a baby says is going to be his pattern. He was born and then he's going to die and then he's going to be raised alive. If you go with the standard Muslim interpretation of the Quran, that what that should say is Peace on me the day I was born, and on the day that people think I die, and then, of course, the day that I'll be raised up without dying, and then the day that I return and judge the world, and then I'm going to die after that, and then I'll be raised to life. So that's what he should have said, but that's we'll save that for later.
Now, we're moving on to a big one, David. This is the one that a lot of Christians may be familiar with. It's the denial of the crucifixion.